Hi, this is Terrence from Radical Marketing. Today, I'm really excited to share with you an example of how we actually reduce our cost per lead by 44.65% with just one powerful ad. And I'm just not just going to brag about the results, but I actually want to show you and break down and analyze this ad so that you can get some ideas on how to write powerful and effective ads for your own webinars. So let's get into it. All right, just to show you what was happening, right? So this is the actual result here, where we averaged 32 dollars and 47 cents for the using local currencies, right? So I'm just adding these two up and basically giving you the average. And this was comparing this to the main campaign where we were getting 58. So as you can see, this is the overall campaign that was giving us 58 and compared to 32 in this particular test. I mean, just looking at it, it's actually we're getting substantial numbers here, right? So it's not just a random thing where we're just getting 10 leads and it's like fantastic. Now we're getting hundreds of leads. Okay, so just want to show you that basically what we have done here is that we have actually reduced our cost by $26 in local currency, and that has resulted in a 44.65% cost reduction per lead for this webinar. Thank you so much for watching our video. Just a quick interruption to remind you, if you are watching this on YouTube, to like and subscribe and check out all our other videos on the channel. And if you're checking out this video on our blog post, make sure you check out all the other blog posts on our website. So thank you so much, and back to the rest of the video. So I just want to show you what it looks like, okay? Okay, gotta take my face away from that. All right, so this is the ad, and I just want to basically, I'll break it down for you later. But as you can see, it's it's a middle length ad, right? We actually write longer ads than this, but in this case, we just write a middle length ad. And here, as you can see, we had a lot of likes, and you can see there's no angry faces, right? There's over 300 likes, 350 likes almost. And I want you to just look at the shares down at the bottom. 97 shares from 350 likes. So that is a phenomenal amount of likes to share ratio, meaning that this ad is actually quite viral. And bear in mind, this is not a video ad. This is just a plain text and image ad. Okay, so there is nothing viral about the video. Most times you get a lot of shares is when you have great videos, right? But this one, we didn't even have a video. This is just a plain text. In fact, it's a stock image, right? So yeah, let's break it down to see why we managed to get this result, okay? And hopefully you can take some lessons away. So first of all, again, my face is blocking the copy. All right, so pardon the resolution, but I think you can still read it, right? So the first line here is, want to be rich? Don't buy a house. Instead, start collecting assets. Okay, so remember the first line here, we want to get people's attention. We want to get them hooked and curious as to what's going on. So here we are basically giving people, if you break it down, right, want to be rich, that's like, yeah, that's like speaking to their desire, right? But then it's like, don't buy a house. Instead, start collecting assets. That is a pattern interrupt. So when you interrupt people's patterns, and people always think, okay, property is how I get rich. I want to buy a house so that I can grow my wealth that way, right? So we're just basically changing that paradigm and giving a paradigm shift. And we tell them instead start collecting assets, which is like kind of generates that curiosity. It's like, what does this ad mean? What do they mean by collecting assets, right? So that's the first sentence, which is absolutely critical. Because if we actually, I analyze the click through all, which means how many percent of people who see the ad actually click on the see more button or click or interact with the ad, right? And we had close to 10% click through all, which is like huge, right? So here, just have that pattern interrupt to get people's attention. All right. So that's step one, and step two is like, make no mistake, the storms of recession are brewing, and we need to get ready. All right. So what am I doing here? What we're doing here is we are getting people we are inflicting pain, right? We're trying to inflict that pain on people who are reading it. Okay. And we kind of like address the objection, right? Because like the instant reaction here would be like, oh yeah, you're just fear mongering. So hey, let's tackle that objection head on. And then we say, I know it sounds like fear mongering, right? And that basically gets people, oh, okay, that addresses the objection. So they continue reading, right? But think about it, which is kind of leading them to kind of read a bit more. Global inflation is now public enemy number one, and the US central bank is combating it by raising rates. What will happen? So we're actually now talking very logically, right? We're explaining what's going to happen, which is both informational and educational at the same time. So this gets people reading even deeper into the ad, right? The US dollar will keep going up, hence ringgit, which is the local currency, will keep falling. And as the ringgit falls, we need to spend more to buy the same stuff. Okay, let's move this. And because we can buy less, our economy is also likely to shrink, aka a recession. It's really a potential triple whammy. So here we are basically using logic and explaining what's happening, educating people, right? And then what we're doing next is like, we are basically talking like, it's like getting slapped on the left cheek by a falling ringgit, and then getting slapped again on the right cheek by inflation, then getting kicked in between the legs by recession. Okay, so I know that that's kind of like a bit grammatically incorrect, but it is actually colloquial English. So we made the English so in a way that's slightly a bit off to tailor for the local market, right? So yeah, that's how people locally sometimes speak, right? So we omit certain grammatical rules, and yeah. So but the important thing for you to get here is not to talk about the grammar, but it's actually, yeah, tailor it towards your local population and who's reading it, right? If people speak that way, make sure you write that way too, right? Because it's supposed to sound conversational. But the other principle behind this is that, all right, we've talked about logic here, right? But we're using a metaphor here to really hit that point home, right? It's getting slapped on the left cheek and then on the right cheek and then kicked in between the legs. Yeah, people start feeling that and they visualize that and it becomes real to them now. Okay, so it really hits home the point, okay, about the pain, right? And that's why we got so much engagement on this ad. That's one of the reasons, right? You're making it real for them using metaphors. Right, so let's go into the next section. So first section, remember, is to get people's attention. Second section is to kind of like open the wound, okay? And the third section is where we provide a solution. So here we go. So how? Once again, colloquial English. That's how locals speak here. So yeah, so that's why. So please don't think we don't write good English, all right? So it's just that, yeah, that's tailored for the local market. So that's why I've designed a special investment plan for these times, right? So you're kind of like You're opening the wound and now you're providing a solution. This is copywriting 101, right? I call it the bulletproof investment plan. So this is what we call in copywriting a mechanism, which makes your solution different from everybody else's out there. And this mechanism in this client's case is called the bulletproof investment plan, right? Um, and we just make it a bit more dramatic. It's forged with over a decade of experience, right? So a bit of credibility as well for the speaker to withstand the fiercest recession storm. This is the shield that Malaysians need. So again, we're using metaphors at the same time, communicating the benefit of it. All right. I'm revealing this in my free web class, which includes, and this is where we kind of explain how our solution is different from everything else out there, right? So why multi-asset allocation is critical now for both defense and attack. So once again, using a metaphor, how to that's the whole defense and attack with your wealth, right? How to find money to invest and get better returns. So that's very practical. That addresses the objection of like, I have no money to invest. Okay. And the three wealth buckets that everyone who wants to build generational wealth needs to know about. Okay, so that further is not a mechanism, but that also helps differentiate our client from everybody else out there. Okay, our ultimate goal. Okay, so this is once again, we want to paint the ultimate desire that they all want, that all the readers want, right? Which is to help them create a new stream of income to weather rising costs. Okay, so this is the number one desire through our market research that they want, right? So people are working, they want an extra stream of income to weather rising costs, whether they're working or an entrepreneur, and build long-term wealth, right? So those are two things that I really want. So we put that into there. This is the exact armor our wealth needs. Once again, using a metaphor so that people can visualize it, right? Putting on an armor for your wealth, right? That's like, it creates that picture in the mind's eye. And that's very important when you're writing copy, right? You need to create these pictures in the mind's eye, not just use logic, right? So, because this is very much logic, right? But we need to kind of like sync both the logic brain, and the right, which is the imagery, the creative brain. If we can address both parts of that, that is what creates very, very good copy and gets people to jive both the emotion and logic together. Okay. So yeah, that's where we have the metaphor to defend against the evil armies of inflation and recession, right? Very metaphoric. So you're kind of like picturing all this big armies of evilness, like, you know, Lord of the Rings coming in, and you need to gird yourself for war, right? All right. So, and finally, call to action. To find out more about this event and to claim one of the remaining free spots, which is a bit of scarcity here, head over here now. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I mean, we probably could have made the call to action a bit stronger, like future pacing and stuff. But I think, yeah, I think that we kind of future paced here a little bit as well, right? So yeah, that's the ad. It's pretty short, pretty. I mean, not super short, but short enough. Sometimes we write pretty long ads, but this really worked. So um, yeah, so one thing, yeah, you can see the image is just a very generic image, nothing special about it, right? So it was the copy that really carried this ad, not the image, right? So and we could test with different images, which is what we're doing right now to see if that actually improves the effectiveness of the ad. But at 10%, close to 10% CTR, or I think we're doing a pretty good job. So one other thing to actually pay some attention about here is why buying a home won't make you rich, right? Once again, that emphasizes the whole pattern interrupt thing, right? So you kind of like going, oh, what's going on here, right? Because everybody tells me that I need to buy a house to build my wealth and all that stuff. So this is where we're saying, hey, buying a home won't make you rich. Once again, emphasizing that hook. which then stops the scroll, right? That's the whole purpose there. All right. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So, I really hope that you got something out of this and really enjoyed this. And make sure to check out, other videos on copy that we often have on our website and our YouTube channel. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we constantly put out that's really working in our agency that we share freely, pretty much. So check out the other videos on our channel if you're on YouTube, or if you're on our blog right now, just check out the other videos on our blog and I'm sure you get lots from it. So thanks again for watching.